everyone, thank you all so much for coming back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some savory scones. Now I have already done another video on how to make sweet or not savory scones, and this recipe is almost the same, just a few really small changes. So all the ingredients and measurements are listed down below, and we can start baking. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and mix together our lemon juice and our milk. I like to do this first because it gives the milk just a little bit of time to sort of get thick and sort of curdled almost. So you're just going to go ahead and add your lemon juice into your milk, give it a little stir, and then set that aside. Next we are going to mix together our dry ingredients. So for this we've got flour, sugar, baking powder, and a nice big pinch of salt. Into this we're going to go ahead and add our nice small cubes of butter, and then you're going to go ahead and put it onto your stand mixer and start mixing it at a nice low to medium speed. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can do this by hand, and I did it by hand in my other video, so you can go check that out if you need to. Now you're just going to go ahead and let this mixture mix for a couple of minutes until your butter cubes have broken down a little bit and they are nice small pieces that look something like this. Now we are going to continue mixing, and we are going to slowly add our curdled milk mixture. It should have sort of thickened and gotten a little funny and curdly in the few minutes that it took you to mix together your dry ingredients, but if you don't see much of a change, do not worry at all. Now, to be honest, this isn't a measured amount that I put in my little measuring cup. I normally don't measure my milk because I don't know, I guess I just think I'm better than that, but I mess up probably a few too many times, so I really should measure it, but I did give you a measured quantity of milk, so do not worry. All you're going to do is slowly add your milk mixture into your dry ingredients while it is mixing in your stand mixer. What you're looking for is for this to come together. It should be a little dry. You don't want it to be super duper sticky, but it will be a somewhat dry biscuit dough. Like I said, I often mess up, so mine is just a little bit too sticky, but it still turned out just fine. Now, I decided to do two different flavors for my savory scones, so what I'm going to do now is just divide my dough into two parts. I'm going to weigh it first so that I can divide it nice and evenly. Now that my dough is divided into two different portions, I'm going to take one of my portions and I'm going to add some cheddar cheese as well as some sliced jalapenos. I left the seeds in these jalapenos because I had a couple before and I found that they weren't very spicy, so I went ahead and left the seeds in just to up the spice a little bit. Now to add this in, you're just going to sort of mix and fold however you think works best for you until you get it nice and incorporated into your biscuit dough. Then you're going to go ahead and shape your little blob of dough into a nice circle, and you're going to use a nice sharp knife and you're going to cut it into 6 even pieces, and then you're going to set those on a parchment lined baking sheet and go on to your other flavor. Now for the second flavor, I chose to do ham and tomato. I really wanted it to be bacon and tomato, but we were out of bacon, so I substituted for ham, and it's fine. It's fine. So go ahead and mix those in just like you did with the other flavor, and then you're going to also pat this out into a nice circle and cut it into 6 pieces. Now you're going to put those all on the parchment lined baking sheet, and then they're going to go into a 425 degree oven for anywhere from about 20 to 30 minutes. What you're looking for is that you get a nice golden brown bottom as well as some nice little golden brown bits on the top. Now while those are baking, I did up a quick little sort of compound butter almost for my scones. When I do sweet scones, I like to glaze them with a powdered sugar mixture. Obviously for savory scones we're going to go a little bit different, so I went with some nice flavored butters. So all I did was melt down some salted butter, not unsalted, we want a little bit of that flavor here. And I divided my melted butter into 2 bowls, The first one had a piece of crushed garlic in it, not minced, just crushed, and the second bowl had some dried rosemary. If you have fresh rosemary, that's even better, but dried works just as well. And you're just going to go ahead and divide the butter between the two dishes while it is still nice and hot. And this should just draw out a little bit of the flavor from the garlic and the rosemary that can go nicely with the butter when you brush it on your scones. And then just go ahead and leave those aside until your scones have come out of the oven. Now, when your scones come out of the oven and they have a nice brown bottom, you can go ahead and add on your compound butters. I brushed the garlic butter onto my jalapeno and cheddar scones, and I brushed the rosemary butter onto my tomato and ham scones. I wasn't looking to get pieces of rosemary on the scones, so I sort of went around them, but if you get rosemary on them, it is not a big deal. Also, my butter had solidified in the time that the scones were baking, but that's not a problem because these scones will be piping hot out of the oven, so the butter will melt right onto them beautifully. At this point, you're just going to go ahead and leave them to cool down until they are a temperature that you can eat them without burning your mouth. Once the scones are cooled to your liking, you can go ahead and enjoy them. I kind of like these at like really room temperature. I really like a warm sweet scone, but I'm not big on warm savory scones for whatever reason. But I do like to let it cool down completely. If you like it rewarmed, then you can always cut it in half and toast it with a little bit of butter, or maybe make it into a nice sort of little mini biscuit sandwich with some ham and cheese or something. Just go crazy. Anyways, these scones are super tasty. I hope you make them. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you next time.